Hi, today I want to talk about great faith. Jesus only marveled twice. This is one of those times. Let me tell you a story that would take your faith to a new level. A Roman officer's valuable slave was sick and near death. The officer had heard about Jesus and sent some Jewish leaders to him. They were to ask Jesus to come and save the servant's life. They came to Jesus and begged, saying, "He deserves your help. He loves our people and built our synagogue at his own expense." Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the officer sent friends to tell Jesus, "Sir, don't bother. I don't deserve to have you to come to my house. That's why I didn't come to you. But just give a command, and my servant will be healed. As you know, I'm in authority, and I have soldiers at my command. I tell one of them, 'Go,' and he goes, and another, 'Come,' and he comes. I tell my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." Jesus was amazed at the officer when he heard these words. He turned to the crowd following him and said, "I guarantee that I have not found faith as great as this in Israel." The Roman officer's sick servant must have been an unusual servant because it said he was dear to him. We ought to make ourselves valuable on our jobs. They ought to fear losing us. Stop doing just enough to keep from getting fired. From today, I see you making yourself valuable to your employer. That's the way to promotion. If they don't promote you, guess what? God will. Potiphar wouldn't promote Joseph, so God did. Now, back to the sick servant. He was valuable, but he was sick, and he was going to die. The Roman officer could not part with his servant, so he sent some elders to Jesus because they were wise and older men who were religious leaders. When you're trying to gain favor, send those who have favor. Don't ever send a messenger by someone who doesn't have favor. The elders told Jesus the Roman officer's dear servant was almost dead, and the Roman officer was worthy because he had built them a synagogue. In other words, the Roman officer put his money where his mouth was. He was a believer, and he showed it by his giving. He had a church built with his own money. He showed his belief with his actions. If you can believe, all things are possible to them that believe. Remember, belief is shown by some action. So, Jesus decided to go back with the elders and heal the Roman officer's servant. Now, this is where it gets interesting. While the elders were on the way back with Jesus, the man sends another delegation to tell Jesus there was no need for him to come. The man, he sent these people to ask Jesus not to come. I guess he was saying to himself, I shouldn't be so bold as to ask such a one as Jesus to come to my house. He's important and he has better things to do. Why would I waste his precious time like this? My lifestyle needs to be cleaned up a lot before Jesus enters my house. I've heard of the power he exercises, and I know he doesn't need to come to my house to exercise his level of authority. I have authority. I know how authority works. All I had to do was command the elders to go tell Jesus that my servant needed healing, and off they went. I didn't have to lift a finger. If I could do that with the authority I have, Just think what Jesus could do just by speaking. Even with my authority, my orders are obeyed without question. His will be too. He tells Jesus to just speak the word and his servant will be healed. When Jesus heard this Roman officer's reasoning, he said, I have never encountered that amount of faith, even in Israel. Jesus said, you mean I can save myself some steps? I have a lot to do, and this Roman officer understands the value of time. Finally, a man who knows that I don't have to walk for miles to lay my hands on sick people to heal them. Finally, a man who understands that it's according to your faith. We need to think about this story. We could make, think about this. What could we make happen if we adjusted our faith to the next level? Does it really take God 10 years to bless me? Does it really have to be 4 years before I can walk again? Does God really need 2 weeks to show me a way? With God, is there really no cure for my sickness? With God, is it really too late for me to go back to school? Things will happen to you according to your faith. This man said, as a matter of fact, you don't really need to come all the way to my house. Just speak the word only and nothing else, and my servant will be healed. Is it magic? No, it's not magic. The word must be spoken. Sometimes that's all that's needed. Speak the word only. We must hear that. The Roman officer gives us the word that we need. Take it from a man that Jesus marveled at. He said, speak the word only. Let's stop speaking our doubts and our fears and speak the word. This is going to take some work. But when we understand authority like the Roman officer did, we begin to search for the word. Search for a word to speak over our situation. And we only speak that word. You think this is far-fetched? Listen to this scripture. Isaiah 8:20 says, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them. Let's begin to speak according to the word. Jesus said, whatever you shall say unto this mountain, or if you tell this mountain to be cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in your heart, but believe that whatever you say will come to pass, you will have whatever you say. From today, I see you beginning to speak the word only. If this message has been a blessing to you, please like, subscribe, and watch some of my other videos because they will build your faith. Until next time, remember, it's a sin not to win.